Anchors up, sells it full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well, Jared. Doing pretty well. How are you doing today?
No complaints, no complaints, no complaints. It's a new tradition. It's good tradition. There we go.
I don't have one today, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get right into it. It is Game 3 for Ohio State. Know your enemy, the Marshall Thundering Herd. Always like that, the Thundering Herd. Unique. No one else has it. It's always unique, kind of like the Buckeyes. No one else is the Buckeyes. Very unique.
Yeah, and you know what? I like the adjective noun.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So in our show notes, I always try to, especially like early on, I was like, all right, what can get us in the mood to get all amped up about the Ohio State game, talking about the enemy that Ohio State's going to be facing. I do the color scheme for the opponent team. So to Marshall is a green color. But their black isn't black. It's not. No, I don't know what they.
Is it like a hyper dark green?
Yes, it is. It's like a hyper dark green.
That's cool.
They do call it black, but it is nowhere near. I'll put it here because I know Jared like some hex colors here.
I do.
You can see it is.
Well, it's not
even close
because of the filters I have on the Discord.
I know, but for you seeing it, you look at the hex. You look at the hex there. It is not even close to black.
It is not black. Oh boy, I'm going to be a nerd for a second. Black is wait a minute. Yeah, black is all zeros. F is all whites. Or do I have that switched around?
No. All Fs are white. Yes.
Okay, so all zeros in hex equals black, and that starts with 13. So that's, as you said, not really even all that close to black. But Kyle, literally, like me and 3 other people actually care about this. So I could talk about this for the next 10 minutes. No one wants to listen to that, however.
There. Let's get to know our enemy.
Know your enemy.
Marshall coming into this game. Yeah. Marshall coming into this game 1-1. They blew out their first opponent, the Stony Brook Sea Wolves. Did not know they were called the Sea Wolves, but there you go.
Hold on. Pause. The Sea Wolves.
You're going to pause on that? Yes.
That's rad. And Kyle, it's Marshall. We how much time you want to spend breaking down Marshall? I want to talk about the fact that both the Thundering Herd versus the Sea Wolves, that's an all-name game right there.
I'm going to go on here, but Marshall also played Virginia Tech week 2, lost. It was an interesting game. It was 10-7 Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech had a much better second half and beat Marshall 31-14 here. So interesting thing as I'm researching on Marshall here, unknown about the quarterback position. So I did a lot of digging here because if you look at the stats, Jared, here, quarterback Stone Earl has thrown the most, has the most yardage, has the most touchdowns. But honestly, they really expected Cole Pennington to be the starter here.
Yeah. And yes, Stone that is Earl, his son, I believe. Chad Pennington's son.
I should have looked that up. But
I know if he's not his son, he's his nephew. Like he is of Chad Pennington directly or indirectly. I know for sure he is a Pennington of the Penningtons. I'm only like 80% sure that's his son, maybe his nephew or something.
He is the son of former NFL and Marshall quarterback Chad Pennington.
There you go.
But no, Stone Earl got the nod for the first 2 weeks there, but the coach Charles Huff of Marshall stated that he's listed all three quarterbacks as co-starters for this weekend.
Cool. That'll be fun.
Cool.
Okay. I don't. First off, I didn't know there were three. I was aware of the Stone Earl / Pennington battle. I didn't know there was a third one. What's his name?
Yep. Braylon Braxton. Braylon Braxton. Pretty accurate.
How do co-starters work?
Only 11.
How do co-starters work? Spikes. You were here for the Urban Meyer era. That dude had more oars on the depth chart than Minnesota. It's a keep rowing joke. No. Co-starters. You would always have the oars on the depth chart. I understand. Only 11 are actually on the field. I get it, but it's just their oars on the depth chart. That's it. Anyway. Not important. Stone Earl had a great start to the year.
No.
44% completion percentage. Does have 3 touchdowns. So I guess that's a thing.
But he's only 44%. Is it? Hold on.
Yeah.
He is. I'm looking at the stats wrong here. Yeah, he's only 44% completion percentage.
It's on the screen, Kyle.
It is on the screen. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah,
but
Stone Earl originally
a lot of that is
from
from the Virginia
Abilene
Tech
Christian
game.
And University of North Texas. You have running back AJ Turner, 14 runs, 222 yards. And Kyle, that is a 16, I'm round up, 16 yards per carry average. I think he's not going to do that against Ohio State this week.
No.
Bold prediction. Yeah, it was like an 80-yard touchdown. Was it 69 yards? I thought it was 80. But if it was 69, that's pretty nice. But yeah, 80 was the first game. Oh, he's had an 80, and that's how you get 16 yards per carry average right there. A 69-yard run and an 80-yard run. Okay, look, once is a bold prediction. He's not going to do that against Ohio State this weekend. But still, game breaker. Looks to be a game breaker so far. Also carrying the ball, former NC State running back Jordan Houston. Kyle, a measly 5 yards average. Nothing compared to 16 yards per carry. He's only getting you about, Jordan Houston only getting you about 5. Come on, man. Yeah. I'm not going to say long and then 69 consecutively. Not going to do it. Some people might point out, well, Jared, you just did. No, I took a pause in there. Prove I didn't take a pause in there. This is recorded. You can't. Now, Kyle, I like their wide receivers. Christian Fitzpatrick, a guy you might recognize, especially if you watch some Sparty games. He was originally at Michigan State. He currently has 8 receptions on the year for 170 yards, which is a 20-yard average, and 2 touchdowns. And wide receiver Elijah Metcalf, also not bad. He originally committed to Middle Tennessee. He has 7 receptions for 72 yards, and also 2 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I really like Fitzpatrick too. Definitely their deep threat there, but again, I'm not too worried about him, just because unless Marshall comes out with such a weird offense that Ohio State's not going to be prepared for here, to get Fitzpatrick out in space and all that. I'm not too worried about it, especially with our defense. I mean,
yeah.
Look at the defense. Look at the defense, Jared.
I mean, look at their quarterbacks too. I mean, The guy who won the battle is currently throwing 44%. Need I say more? And if you're wondering, oh, well, is he some sort of great runner? Not especially. 18 carries, 86 yards. It's a 4.8 average. It's not like bad. I'm not worried about it though. Not worried about it. On the defensive side of the ball, Kyle, you have a pair of really good linebackers who are leading the team in tackles. Their names are Landon Watson and Jaden Yates. Overall leading tacklers, leading tackles for loss, leading solo tacklers. These are your workhorse guys as far as, the front seven are concerned. On top of that, you have leading pass rusher, Micah Green, who originally committed to Virginia. He has, I think, already like 3.5 sacks on the season, which ain't too shabby. So another guy to keep an eye out, Mike Green. He's a quick first move. Yeah, for sure. I think he only had like 4 or 5 all of last year. And he was at Marshall last year, if I'm remembering correctly. This isn't he originally committed to Virginia, but this is his second year at Marshall. I think he only had like 3 or 4.5-ish last year. He already has 3.5 this year. So maybe it's the level of competition, or maybe he's like taken that next step in his game. One of those two things is apparently what's happening, or maybe he's just on a bit of a hot streak. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think one person from doing my research that I really like from Marshall here, he's a transfer a couple of years ago from Wake Forest, safety JJ Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he had 73 tackles for the year and a pair of interceptions too. Off to a decent start with 11 tackles so far and 2 pass breakups. Senior this year, so definitely a guy to keep an eye out for on Marshall's defense. I think he'll be all over the field, as he's probably their big playmaker on defense. Going to be all over the field.
Now, Kyle, you have a connection, sort of connection to this Thundering Herd, do you not?
I do.
Sort of. I mean, you guys got one red light in your town.
We got 2, thank you.
Sorry. Point is that
2.
Not a lot of people come out of Columbus
show
Grove.
Some respect, Jared.
Not a lot of people come out of Columbus Grove, Ohio.
No.
One of them is Kyle. Who's the other?
That's me.
Point to the bulldog.
Yes, there's a. Yeah, for those that's curious, that's not a Georgia Bulldog. That is my alma mater, high school. They are the Bulldogs. They are also scarlet and gray.
There you go. But you use Bowling Green's fight song.
We do, which is it's not a bad fight song. It's not.
I couldn't hum it for you if I tried. I bet you could.
And I'm not. And I could, but I'm not going to.
That's fair. It probably wouldn't come through the noise gate anyway.
Yeah. I was going to save this to the end, but you're already going to mention it. But kicker Reese Verhoff, junior out of good old Columbus Grove, Ohio. Wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully he gets a lot of
no. You can't end that sentence in a way that in a way that's healthy.
One kickoff. But yeah, I know there's a lot of people in my hometown who are going to be at that Ohio State game. Hoping for the best for Reese, but obviously they're
listen.
Yeah,
hoping for the best when your hometown guy is the kicker for Marshall against Ohio is just hoping he doesn't get hurt. So
he's got to win over Notre Dame.
Does he now?
He was the kicker when Marshall beat Notre Dame. Remember that?
I honestly don't. Is my brain failing? When did Marshall beat Notre Dame?
Jared.
Or
was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
This is a thing that happened? God. After we beat them in 22, says Esquire. Okay. I forgot that.
There you go, Jared.
I believe you. It's just my brain is sometimes, donkey brains. I got the donkey brain sometimes, Kyle. It's okay.
And he was a perfect 2 for 2 on field goals in that game.
They were still healing after our game. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they told themselves. Yeah, not a, granted, we're only 2 games into the season, but points per game, they're only averaging 14, which places them 111th in the country. If you go through the stats, I mean, just without necessarily labeling them offensively, 111th, 116th, 111th, 25th in yards per rush, as we saw one guy's kind of water buffaloing that one. And then yards per pass, 132nd. Defensively, it looks a lot better. Now, points per game, 89th, not fantastic, but then yards per game, 54th, not terrible. Opponent yards per play, 34th, respectable. Yards per rush, 61st, average. Yards per pass, 43rd, not bad. Disciplined team, don't commit a lot of penalties. Time of possession, they don't commit a lot of penalties. I'm trying to be nice. All right, Kyle. Do we sufficiently know our enemy yet?
Yeah, I think so. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and take our first ad break here. Be sure to head on over to thesloopcast.com where you can find all our links to all of our different websites, such as our YouTube page, our Discord server, discord.thesloopcast, or even our Patreon page, patreon.thesloopcast.com, if you want to avoid these ad breaks as little as $3 a month. Or you can even check out some of our merch store there. There are the podcast Sloopcast merch store and the 7071 merch store as well, too. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and take a quick ad break and we'll be right back.
And we're back. All right, Kyle, are we ready to do our predictions? Is that what's next in this show? I forget.
We are ready to do our predictions here. So,
all right.
So first off, before we go into it, our guest picker. Our guest picker is none other than Z Spikes.
Z Spikes, who is currently down in the chat. Hello, Mr. Spikes.
We'll go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and get started here. So Ohio State player to watch in this game, Jared.
Ohio State player to watch. I'm going Jack Sawyer. This team is struggling. When I say this team, I mean Marshall is struggling to put together a passing game. What better way to attack a struggling quarterback and a struggling passing game than to totally disrupt the quarterback, whichever one of the three it is? And, that's what else is there to be said about that? Like, go get the quarterback. Whoever it is isn't having a good time this weekend. I'll say that. Whoever the quarterback is for Marshall, I don't think they're going to be having a good time. I think Jack Sawyer will be among the guys leading that charge.
I partially agree with you there. I do like our defensive line. I think Marshall's offensive line is probably their weak point. On the offense here, I know that the quarterback's struggling, but I think it's because the offensive line is not giving him time.
Yeah.
Any of them time at all, too. And when you got guys like Sawyer and Tuimulau and Hamilton. But my guy I'm picking is Tyreek Williams.
Yeah.
Picking Tyreek Williams just to be that disruptive defensive tackle right up the gut there to give zero room, not just for the quarterback, but for the running backs as well too. So I got good old number 91, Tyreek Williams.
And who does Spikes have?
I do not have his notes. Do you have them up?
Oh,
Jared.
They're in the spreadsheet.
Are they in the spreadsheet? I do not have it open. I apologize. I'm not prepared. I apologize.
Spikes is like, I submitted them. I swear I did. I swear.
Here it is. All right.
I swear.
I got him open. He has Sonny Styles as his player to watch for Ohio State. All picking defensive sides here.
Yep. I think we all understand that the offense just needs to execute.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a clean execution game like they did in week 2, then everything will take care of itself. If they're a little sloppy on execution, it'll look more like week 1. But no disrespect to the Thundering Herd or their linebackers or their safety or to Mike Green. But if Ohio State's executing, they don't stand a chance. And a turnover. Agreed. Totally. I want him to get a sack and a turnover. Yeah. All those things. By the way, Marshall is currently -1 turnovers for the year, which puts them at 104th in the country. All right. Enemy player to watch. You want to go first this time, Kyle?
Yeah. I'll go with the person I mentioned earlier, J.J. Roberts, the leader on this defense here. And I think if Marshall's going to have any success, it starts with this senior J.J. Roberts to make his presence known. So that is my player to watch for Marshall, J.J. Roberts.
All right. I have Christian Fitzpatrick, the former Sparty wide receiver, big play guy. If for no other reason than the catch he had in week 2. Yeah, if you're out there and you haven't seen it yet,
do it.
Just Google Christian Fitzpatrick.
It's going to show up.
And catch. Christian Fitzpatrick catch. You'll find the video. Go do that. After this episode, continue watching this. But after this episode ends, go do that.
All right. I am pulling up the spreadsheet here, and Z Spikes has A.J. Green for his player to watch. Another explosive
AJ
player
Green?
on the AJ Green. Ooh, AJ Turner.
There you go.
You know, I saw AJ and I saw the color, so I just kind of put 2 and 2 together there. AJ Turner, 14 carries, 222 yards.
You're a better man than me, Kyle. I would have blamed Spikes.
I'm just going to tap. Oh no, he actually put AJ Green in here. What am I saying?
AJ Green would be a real problem to handle. I don't think so. Because I don't think the quarterbacks could get him the ball.
Key matchups. Key matchup for this game here. I'll go ahead and start again here. I'm just going to go the opposite of what Jared says. Ohio State wide receivers.
Give away my answer. Jeez.
I know, right? Ohio State wide receivers versus J.J. Roberts. I put Marshall DBs, but it's J.J. Roberts.
That's fair.
So,
can you imagine the shit talking between our corners and AJ Green? Yeah.
But I think our but I think the shining light is going to be our defensive line, but that's not a key matchup though.
I think that one's a given. And along those same lines, I agree with you, which is why I went with Ohio State's DBs versus Marshall's wide receivers. I think Marshall's probably strongest, at least starting units. I'm not going to lie to you and act like I know what the depth chart at Marshall looks like. But as far as like their on the field starting people are concerned, their linebackers, their wide receivers are going to be their best units. Now, of course, with the wide receivers, like I was just joking about with AJ Green, the challenge will be getting them the ball. Christian Fitzpatrick's a deep ball guy. How long will whoever the quarterback for Marshall ends up being, how long can he actually hold the ball in a clean pocket to deliver a deep ball is an important question. They're going to have to do some things to get Fitzpatrick some shorter passes, some passes to get him in a bit of space, which is a lot easier said than done. Who does Spikes have for the key matchup?
Key matchup he has here, he's going with a specific. He has Josh Fryer versus Mike Green.
Yeah. I think that's a really good answer. Might be the best answer, actually. Might be the best answer, if I'm being honest. Next up, Kyle. Ohio State is favored by 39.5 points. Gotta hit the 40 mark to beat Marshall. Gotta beat them by 40 to win the Vegas game. And here's the thing, Kyle, I think they do it. I think the 40 isn't enough to scare me off in this particular game. Give me Ohio State minus 40.
Yeah.
Or 39.5, excuse me.
What's your score?
What do you have as the score? Are we doing that now?
Typically, they kind of go hand in hand there.
All right, let's do the scores. I got 52-0.
All right, I also have Ohio State winning as well, and to cover the 39.5 point with a score of Ohio State 52, Marshall 3.
You just want to see your kicker get a field goal.
He gets some points at Ohio Stadium. So
yeah. Spikes goes with 63-6 because he's putting tradition over all else. So good on you, Spikes. That is a very nice prediction. All right.
And that is it there. We're going to go ahead and take our second ad break here real quick, and we're going to go ahead and get into some questions here, as well as Austin's over and unders. So we'll go ahead and take our second ad break and be right back.
All right, we are back. Kyle just pasted those in there. Although they didn't paste in a readable, friendly way, if I'm being honest. There we go. That's better.
You go. You did it.
Got to do the control.
You did it right the second time.
Control Shift V. Got to do the Control Shift V. You're good. Not Spikes. Austin, you're good. Austin, no worries.
All right. So Austin's over under.
Austin delivering right before absolutely necessary. That's just your ADHD, man. You don't have to apologize for that. That's just how we do sometimes, buddy. That's just how we do sometimes.
Over unders for Marshall. So he has the first one as Trey Hundo of 87.5 yards for the game. Just as a refresher, I'm just looking up real quick here. He is averaging 65.5 yards per game. He has 66 against Western Michigan and 65 against Akron.
This almost feels like a coin flip because I feel like either Trey or Judkins will hit the over here. But then picking who is difficult. We went Trey, then Judkins. I think maybe we go back to Trey, so I'll go over. I think an interesting question, and maybe take this for future advice, Austin, if you want to or not. Like a Trey or Judkins. Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's who's going to get that breakaway. And honestly, right now it seems to be Judkins. Judkins is getting those long runs here, and I think Trey Hundo's due for one. So, and haven't been doing too well with these Austin over unders. So in my mind, I thinking I should go under, but we're taking the over. We're taking the over on this one here. So I would take the over for Trey Hundo of 87.5 yards.
Esquire just said Trey plus Judkins over 150. I would over. Take the over on that.
Over.
For sure. If that were the over under we were doing, which of course it's not. I went over. We both went over.
All right. Next one is J. Roberts tackles at 6.5. My guy over here knows his players, and I talked a lot about him already. So he has 11 tackles for the year. Exactly, pretty much right where he should be there. So I'm thinking if he's going to be a difference maker, it's got to be over. So I'm going to take over here. He had 10 tackles. He had 10 tackles against Virginia Tech.
So I think maybe
without him, like that score would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, I think with a safety specifically, which who Roberts is, with a safety specifically, they will tend to get more tackles against better teams. Against a lesser team, the linebackers are going to be a little bit more active and get more tackles. But against, an Ohio State-esque team where your talent unmatched, that a little more of the rushes, more of the tackles end up making it to the second, third level. So yeah, I agree. I'm going to go over here as well.
All right.
Spikes also says over.
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
0.5 touchdowns for this game.
Over.
Okay. I got to go with the trend as well. I got to go over as well.
Yeah. If you'd have said 1.5, I probably would have said under. Isn't that insane? Yeah. It is.
Mm-hmm. It is. He's what, 5th already in, I think, yardage and touchdowns as a true freshman at Ohio State just in 2 weeks.
Between him and Williams at Alabama, the freshman wide receiver class is proving insane already.
Absolutely. Fitzpatrick catches at 3.5.
I had him as my player to watch. I had as the enemy player to watch. But again, he's a deep ball threat. And, again, Marshall, if they're smart, will change up their game plan to make him not so much the deep ball threat. Because you're not going to get the opportunity to have your quarterback in a clean pocket all that often to throw a deep ball. So with all the quarterback shuffling happening at Marshall, with the offensive line being the way it is at Marshall, with Ohio State's pass rush being what it is at Marshall, with Ohio State's defensive backs being who they are, I think Fitzpatrick gets shut down. I'm going under.
The trend, the Vegas here tells me it should be over. He had 4 catches in first game.
Yeah.
He had 4 catches in the second game.
Yep.
But you know what the difference is between those games?
Ohio State's defense.
None of them is Ohio State here,
Yeah.
so give me the under.
Yeah. Next up, right. Passes by Ohio State quarterbacks who aren't Will Howard, 8.5.
Ooh.
It's a good number.
I'm not prepared to answer this question.
Just look at week 2. Just look at week 2. Forget about forget about week 1. Just look at week 2. How many throws? How many pass attempts?
You want to guess how many?
No, tell me.
I got it.
Tell me. Just tell me.
7.
7. It's almost like that's
7 for 7. Perfect 100%.
It's almost like that's maybe where Austin got his answer or something.
But I'm going to go under.
Oh, it's not. Austin says it's not where he got his answer.
But I'm going under.
Pulled it out of my ass. I'm gonna go over.
All right. I think that's our first difference there.
Surely a win for me then.
All right. Sacks by our defensive ends at 2.01. So 2.5 sacks or more.
So this is all defensive ends, not just starting defensive ends. He doesn't say specifically Sawyer.
I'm going to go over.
Tuimoloau. Yeah. I mean,
give me the over.
Yeah. I mean, if you're also giving me Curry and Jackson, then yeah, I'm going to go over on this.
All right. And the last one we have here is total game turnovers at 2.5. I mean, Jared talked about it. Like they don't really turn the ball over that much.
They're -1 on the differential is all I really said. That's the differential, which puts them at 104th in the country. I actually don't have on my board the total number of turnovers. And so I don't necessarily know that. We understand both teams. Has Ohio State turned it over yet this year? I know that there have been fumbles, but I think the fumbles were recovered by Ohio State. Okay. Austin says nope.
Yeah, they have not. I know that.
And that's why you go get a 5th-year starting quarterback.
I do not think. Yeah. Well, here's. Yeah, they've only turned the ball over once. I'm confirming
Ohio State
real quick. No. Marshall. I think Marshall has only turned the ball over once.
Then that means they've forced no turnovers. If they've only turned, because their turnover differential's -1.
Yep.
So they've forced no turnovers and they've only committed 1.
I'm going to go under.
Yeah, we're going to
go under here.
Two teams who have yet to commit a turnover. I'm going to go under. Man, there's going to be like some strip sacks or something though. I feel like we just walked into a nest on that one.
Yep, we're going to be wrong. We're going to be wrong.
How many is Ohio State forcing per game? Do we have that number handy? Because that might change my mind. 1? It's got to be more than 1. We have more than. I feel like we have at least. You have 2 defensive touchdowns on the year already, don't we? Yeah, I think we forced 2 a game on average.
We have 1 fumble recovery and 2 interceptions.
That's it. Okay.
So we only have 1 forced fumble, and that was a recovered. And so we have Caden Curry forced the fumble. We have Lathan Ransom with the fumble recovery, which ended up being that touchdown.
Yeah.
And Denzel Burke has an interception, and Gabe Powers has an interception that turned out for a touchdown as well.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go under here.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. They are averaging 1.5 turnovers per game. So, yep, we're agreeing to under.
Remint.
All right. Any other questions in chat here? I know we got a few people live listening. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight here. Any questions in the chat here? We can go through as we are wrapping up our Know Your Enemies show here.
I think we're good, Kyle. Austin is typing, but while I'm setting up my YouTube TV, any hidden sports gem to add to your library? The thousands and thousands of BTN alternates. It's more like dozens, but already added. Then you're good. You're good. Here's the thing you need to know about YouTube TV. The individual channels don't actually matter that much. You will just kind of not even care. Like YouTube TV will figure out that you want to watch college football. So when you go to turn it on Saturday, it'll just be like, hey, here's all the college football games. It really divorces you from ever knowing what channel you're on, which is, I actually don't know how to judge that. It's just the reality of what it is. I rarely go to the live guide. Yeah, same. Here's the thing though, if I'm actually turning on YouTube TV, because I spend most of my time like in YouTube or on apps or on Twitch. If I'm actually going to like live TV, it's like with a specific purpose. Like I don't ever browse around TV. If I'm going to TV, it's because I am wanting to, if I'm going to YouTube TV, if I'm going to cable, it's with a specific purpose. You're gonna have to show me how to quad screen though. It'll show you.
Only on a TV.
You can customize your quad screen on a TV a little bit. It's not as good as they advertised, if I'm being honest, but it's still nice. But no, you'll log in on Saturday and it'll just have a bunch of different quad screens to choose from. It's never the exact quad you want though. Yeah, quad screen. All right. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
He
doesn't.
Really?
That's fair.
In honesty,
you don't have to.
I don't.
We just recorded on Sunday. It's Tuesday. What could have happened since the last two you gave us?
Ohio State wide receivers did really well in the NFL over the weekend.
I think
They
you
did
may
very
have.
well.
I think maybe you talked about that. Did you do that on the? You may not have.
No, I don't think I did because the games were still going on.
Not really.
Some.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the show. Tonight's ending music we brought to you by a Columbus-based band called Slimfit. I think I had an actual song lined up for today. Slimfit. The name of the song is Dimitro Tsunami. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is one word, Slimfit.